What up, y'all? Welcome back to an episode of Rolling About. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're here to preview the Circuit of the Americas race weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR XFINITY Series, and the NASCAR Truck Series. All three series racing this weekend. Excited to break it all down, so let's rock. So COTA, which is the short term for Circuit of the Americas, is a 20-turn road course. It's around 3.4 miles. It's the first road course for the NASCAR season. It's also a course that the Formula One series races in. So we're looking forward to this weekend. They actually, from last year, we had some wild restarts in the turn one, and that was, the restart zone was closer. So they thought that was one of the reasons for those crazy restarts. So they moved the restart zone much closer to turn 20. And there is a picture they show, and there's also a video of Bob Parker showing it. So it looks like you're going to have half the field will be going straight, going into turn one. The other field will still be going around that final turn, in my opinion, looking at the restart zone. So it should, what their goal is to hopefully make the field spread out more, have more time to spread out. They definitely will be going much faster in that turn, but hopefully be a little more spread out where they're not as compacted going into that final turn. Also, the track limits are kind of the same as last year. The goal was to hopefully maybe have some new track limits, but I guess they couldn't get cameras in those certain areas to be regulated by NASCAR. So I believe the rule is you can't, when you're going through turns or chicanes or curbs, you cannot have all four tires inside that curve. Also be kind of like a judgment call for NASCAR if your all four tires were not inside the track limits. If we get into the Truck Series preview, 35 trucks, they'll all make the race. Some notable entries, Connor Zilisch, who was signed by Track as a very, very good road racer, is going to be in this field. I expect him to create some damage and be up there in top five, in my opinion. Also, Ross Chastain driving in the number 45, Connor Zilisch in number 7, Tricon Garage, and then I think Ross Chastain in the 45 is a Nice Motorsports truck, so also pretty fast. I think they have an alliance there with Trackhouse, Nice Motorsports does. Those are only two. The rest of the notable entries, I don't really know that many of the drivers, so maybe some one-off drivers, but that's the only notable entries. The truck race is at 1:30 on FS1. Stage 1 is 12 laps. Stage 2 is 14 laps. The last stage is 16 laps. 4 sets of tires. There is stage breaks. There are stage cautions now for road courses. I felt like after the NASCAR Cup Series race at Watkins Glen and also the Indianapolis, maybe the racing was just got too spread out. And the races, both of those races back-to-back last year for the Cup Series were both under almost 2-hour races. So short. And I guess NASCAR wanted more, wrecking. They wanted more wrecking. And also the reason that they got rid of them was because if you're a top 10 car, you're most likely going to choose to take stage points or pit early to keep. If you pit early, you're going to keep your track position. If you don't pit early and you go for the stage points, you'll end up being, in the back half of the field because a lot of people will come in pit early and get that track position. So really, you're deciding to get stage points or go for the win. So that's why they got rid of it. But now after 2 bad races, they chose to bring it back. I think for entertainment and maybe more chance for drama standpoint, that NASCAR did the right thing, right? But when it comes to giving the people that earn the points and deserve to get those stage points by running in the top 10, you're taking that away, in my opinion. When it comes to the truck race, the stages are always shorter, so it's going to be important to get good, qualify well, get good track position, and hopefully stay up there. That's what I'm going to look out for. Tires, I don't think are going to matter. 4 sets. You're going to be able to go long, good on the field. I don't think you have to worry about pitting during a stage at all. I think you'll just pit in between every stage break. You'll pit unless you're trying to jump and get track position. You'll pit early before the stage. I believe 2 laps before the stage is over, that's when pit road closes. So you have to pit before that if you want to hopefully get jump the field for the next stage. If we break down this race, I see a lot of different competition. Connor Zilisch to me is the one that steps out the most because he's a veteran. He's going to be in a good truck. Chris Eckes just came off a good run. Ross Chastain could be good. Corey Heim could be competitive. There's a lot of trucks in this field, and I'm not as familiar with all the drivers in the truck series. I would say, Thor Sport, Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski's okay. And of course, I think this is definitely going to, in my opinion, the truck series race is definitely going to favor those one-off drivers on those road course ringers, like a Connor Zilisch. And that's why I'm picking Connor Zilisch to win this race. Practice and qualifying is going on right now. I'll put down in the right on the screen here if whoever won the poll. But I'm picking Connor Zilisch Connor Zilic, to win this race. I think the experience on road courses is going to matter. There's not as much. The Truck Series only goes to maybe 1 or 2 road courses per year. So those guys don't have as much experience. They don't need to because the majority of the season is ovals. But my pick is Connor Zilic. Looking forward to this race. It should be exciting. It should be competitive. If we look at the XFINITY Series notable entries, 40 entries for 38 spots. So 2 cars will go home. This field is stacked. Really stacked. I'm excited for this race a lot. Ty Dillon will be in the JD Motorsports number 6. I don't expect that car to be competitive. But then we got Kyle Larson in the Hendrick Motorsports number 17. Man, look out for him. And then Ty Gibbs in the Joe Gibbs Racing number 19. And then John Hunter Nemechek in the number 20. And then Kaz Grella in the 28. For my notable entries, we look at the XFINITY Series race. Starts at 5 o'clock on FS1. Stage 1, 14 laps. Stage 2, 16 laps. Last stage, 16 laps. 4 cents and tires again. Boy, this race, I think I'm the most excited for this race out of all 3 series because it's the car. It's a lot more an edge, right? Lower grip, smaller brakes, all that fast, high-speed turns. It's got the competitiveness in this field is going to be incredible. We got to look at the Chevy side. We look at SVG. The calling cars will be fast. SVG and AJ Allmendinger. This is fine. We finally get to see what we consider maybe the best road course racer in all of NASCAR. And AJ Allmendinger go against what was one of the best road course racers in Australia when he was racing V8 supercars. I mean, I'm excited to see how those two. I can see those two top 5 or top 10. The only thing I would say is I think SVG lacks experience in this XFINITY Series car at the road courses yet. So we don't know. He'll have to get used to that. The braking zones, how the car brakes, all that. He still needs a good handling car too. So I think AJ Allmendinger has the more experience out of the two, especially with the car. Also, we got to look at Kyle Larson. Boy, he's gonna be fast. I still want to put him. I would put him up there with AJ Allmendinger, but not there because last year AJ Allmendinger won this race. He outdueled William Byron. I still would say that Kyle Larson's probably a little bit more talented driver than William Byron. With the Ford camp, I'm still going to look at the Stewart Haas cars. Cole Custer's pretty solid. Cole Custer, he is pretty solid. He won the Chicago Street Course race, so I expect him to be fast when it comes to the Ford. Same thing with Riley Herbst, pretty good. Those two. Haley Deegan, I don't know her. She hasn't done really anything impressive in the road courses, so I don't know for her when it comes to the Ford camp how she'll do there. At Toyota camp, Ty freaking Gibbs. Watch out for him. He's going to be a top dog. And then also John Hunter Nemechek. Look at him. I'm looking, when it comes to these lower series, I'm always looking at the top teams and the top dogs in the race, really be competitive. And those are the 2 cars. And we can still look at Sheldon Creed, and we still look at Chandler Smith as being fast for Toyota as well. There is stage breaks in this race, and that's where it makes it interesting. Like SVG, this is going to be hard for him. If he's in position to get stage points, is he going to take the stage points, or is he going to pit early? That's what we got to look out for SVG. Sending AJ Allmendinger. This is their best chance to win a race all year, right? So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a team decision probably on what they do, because I think if they have a fastest car where they feel like they can get stage points and get run back up to the front, they may try that. Or they'll just pit early and get their track position. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch out for in this race. I think, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, and John Nemechek, those one-off guys, I expect them to pit early because there's no point in getting stage points. They want to be up front. They want to compete for the win. So that's going to be the thing that'll interest me the most. When it comes to a pick, I'm going AJ Allmendinger because he's the most experienced. He has probably the most experience out of all these drivers with his car at road courses. He's so good. I wouldn't say he won this race last year, so he's really good here. I still think when it comes to all the road courses, he's way better at the Charlotte Roval than any other ones. But that's what I expect AJ Allmendinger. I expect him to be up there leading the pack. He's the veteran. Now, there's a lot more experience, and there's a lot more competitive guys in this field that can challenge him than what I felt like last year was. That's who I'm going with. AJ Allmendinger to take home the win for the XFINITY Series race at COTA. Now let's get into the Cup Series. 39 Cup cars in the field. I believe it's a 40-car entry. No one will go home. 39 cars. The normal entries is AJ Allmendinger in the number 13 Colin car. And then Kaz Grella in the number 15 again, running one of his 25 races. And then Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 16. It's a Colin car, but I saw pictures that this car was getting prepped at Trackhouse. So watch out. It's probably a Trackhouse prepared car, so I expect him to have that speed. I'm not worried about the car or the speed in the car. And then in the number 50, Kumi Kobayashi in the number 50 for 2311. And then in the number 66 is Timmy Hill, racing one of their only races in the Cup Series for Timmy Hill Racing. So that's cool to see. I don't expect much from him. But boy, this field right here is also stacked. Look at the Cup Series race. It's at 3:30 Eastern on Fox. Really excited for this race. Stage 1, 15 laps. Stage 2, 15 laps. Last stage, 38 laps, 6 sets of tires. I'm excited for this race. We have a new package for this race. It's a short track package. It's the simplified diffuser. It's got a 2-inch or 1-inch less spoiler. We're going to have the road course package, so they have white bursts, defoggers, rain flaps. So there's all those things. There's no percent chance of rain. It's like 3%, I think, all over the weekend. 70 degrees for all the races this weekend. So we look at this Cup races. Contenders. Ford's Austin Cindric. He's one of the better road course racers, but he hasn't really lived up to that in my opinion. So I don't know. Joey Logano, solid. Chris Buescher is also very good. Much better road course racer than Brad. I don't expect much from Brad. I see Chris Buescher being up there. He can run a top 15 type race. Justin Haley, who raced door to door with SVG in the Chicago Street Course race in number 51. I could see something from him too. In that Rick Ware car, he's shown speed last week at Bristol. It's 2 different tracks, but I think Rick Ware has the speed to compete top 15. So that's why I look at even Stuart Haas. I don't know. They're not really road course type racers. So they're more short track. All 4 drivers for Stuart Haas are more short track based drivers. When they came up from, so I don't see much. They can run fast. I think they'll have speed, but I don't know. I see them, being very competitive up front in this race. When we look at the Toyotas, this is where it gets really. I think the Toyotas have the most talent when it comes to road course racing. We can look at the whole Joe Gibbs lineup. Martin Truex is a very good road course racer. He won at Sonoma last year. He's won multiple times at road courses. Ty Gibbs, really fast as well. He was really good at road courses last year because they have a fast car. Denny Hamlin as well was competitive at Watkins Glen. Same thing with Christopher Bell, fast there. Then we look at 2311, Tyler Reddick. Look out for him, man. He won this race last year. He is the guy to look out for. And then Bubba Walsh, not the best, but he's improved, I think. I could see him still being up there. He's going to have a fast car. We look at the Kumi Kobayashi. He struggled in his one race at Indianapolis. He finished 33rd. I don't know, man. I think he still has to get used to this type of racing in this car, so I expect him to struggle. But if he runs out front, it won't surprise me because he's very good here. Really good in road course racing, sports cars. That's where he kind of races in for Toyota. Legacy Motor Club, I don't know yet. John Nemechek is probably the better road course racer on the two. Eric Jones, I don't see much from him in this race. If we look at the Chevys, I look at Trackhouse. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, SVG. Look out for him, man. He's going to be a calling car, number 16, but a Trackhouse prepared car. I'm excited to see how he does. He won the Chicago Street Course race, right? That was great. But then I believe he finished 9th in the Indianapolis race. He was competitive all day, but just couldn't. I think due to the fact that the cautions, not many cautions in that race, it didn't really give him opportunities to make spots on restarts. So he just kind of ran that race all day, which it's great. I expect him. I think in this race, I expect a top 10 from him. I don't know. I really think that the Cup Series has a lot more experience at this track than he does, right? So we got to think about that. Experience is very important. We look at Ross Chastain. He's won here. He won the first race in the next-gen car, so I expect him to be up there. And Daniel Suarez as well. When they're calling, the only cars I think from calling is AJ Allmendinger. I wouldn't say this is one of the strongest tracks when it comes to the Cup Series, but I still see him being up front on top 10 is where I expect him. I could see him challenge for the lead, but he's in the number 13 calling car, so it's not as maybe as prepared or has much resources behind it. But when you have a very talented road course driver, they can make up for that lack of speed. We gotta look at Hendrick. Really, all three, I would say all four could compete up there. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman. I would say Alex Bowman, in my opinion, is the weakest out of those four. Chase Elliott, man, is this his chance? Can he do it? He won the first race here ever in last year, the Gen 6. It was a rain-shortened race. Oh boy, he needs, this could be the race that he breaks through. Who knows? But I think there's just so much talent. You could choose so many different people. William Byron won the Watkins Glen race. Kyle Larson, he's so talented. The Spire cars, I don't know. I don't see much from them. They're, young, inexperienced. Corey Joy is decent. I don't know his stats there with that. Remember, there's also stage breaks in this, so we'll see, people that are trying to go for the win. We'll pit early. People that are trying to get stage points will run this stage out and hopefully get stay in the top 10. It'll also be really strategy wise. If there's enough cars in that pitted and they can get stage points, people will probably take it. Those teams that are in the back half of the top 20 or back half of the top 25, something like that, inside the top 25. I can see those people staying out, hopefully, to get a top 10, in the stage. My winner for this race, it's not really a shocking winner, Tyler Reddick. I think he just has, I don't know what it was him, but he is so good in these road courses, especially in this car. I don't think the road course ringers are going to be as effective as they would be in the Xfinity or trucks, because the Cup Series has raced a lot more at road courses. And these guys are getting really good. Teams are making it a lot more a priority to be good on these, because these are important points and not just to forget about. A couple of years ago, we only had two. We had Sonoma and Watkins. Some teams could just go in there and hopefully get top 20 and be good to go. And they weren't as big of a factor. Now they really are for some of these teams that some of these drivers, we don't have AJ Allmendinger is going after a trophy, but he ain't going after points, so he's going to go. He should have been early, probably. SVG, same thing. Kobayashi, same thing. They're not going after stage points, and they're going after the win. So I think that will make it interesting to see who goes for the win, who doesn't. Tyler Reddick's my winner. I'm excited for this race. Looking forward to it. That's a wrap on my preview. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.